I'm Francis, and together with Ben, we talk about our journeys trying to make content, build audiences, and to eventually try to make a living from it. And in this episode, we talk about Ben's second YouTube video results, his ideas for the next one, how he's thinking about systematizing things, and kind of thinking more about his channel as a variety channel. And I talk about my need to solve puzzles and how that's the thing that I want to incorporate in whatever I'm trying to do. And we talk about procrastination and how it can be a signal that you're doing the wrong thing. And we talk about how I'm leaning towards doing things that my mind just can't stop thinking about. This one's also a video podcast, so if you want to check it out on YouTube, it'll be there. It'll be on Spotify, and you'll be able to do more than just listen to us. Anyway, without further ado, this is Make Now Think Later, and enjoy. All
hey,
right.
man.
Hello.
Welcome back,
Welcome back, Mr. Eblin.
Mr. Lee. We haven't done this in a little while. It's been, what, like a couple of weeks?
Couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're back.
We're back. Mr. Lee, that's my father. You
Oh.
can call me Francis.
Okay, Francis.
Yeah.
You can call me Mr. Eblin. I like that.
I was just saying that because that's what they say in the movies. So it sounds cool. So what's been going on in your world? I believe you have got some results from your YouTube video, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, so it's performing pretty well.
Yep.
Which is nice because it's nice just because it's performing well, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, it wasn't a fluke.
Oh.
At least it's not, or there could be two flukes in a row.
Two flukes.
I've played too much poker and seen too much crazy shit happen with like chance to be like, oh, that's never going to happen. That could never happen. Yeah, it can. But yeah, it's just a cool little thing. But particularly the more qualitative stuff, like the comments and that kind of stuff. Getting more hate comments, which is kind of like a milestone as well, which is awesome. Not really hate comments, just like snarky little fuckheads that like they just have to put their 2 cents in. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, this is it. This is different. But it's like, cool. All right. It's out there.
So you've made it. If you've got the hate comments,
that's it.
Then you've made it.
Yeah, that's a badge. That's a, what are they called? Yeah, like a
badge of honor.
Badge of honor. No, it's like when you get like a little badge in a game or something. Like a
little achievement.
Achievement, that's the one. Yep, achievement unlocked. So, but yeah, now it's really, I'm in the mindset of systematizing. I said this a lot in the past, but I'm really starting to knuckle down on it. Mm-hmm. So I've sort of got the quality where I want it. It's like, all right, how do I kind of reverse engineer and like play around with different content types so that it doesn't take me like a month to put out a video. So I can say, okay, maybe even weekly or bi-weekly that I can start putting out a video on YouTube. YouTube in particularly, yeah.
Because you've got 2 videos out. One's at about 400K, I think, and one's
something
about
like that.
150.
Yeah.
So, and they're about a month or 2 apart. How far apart were they?
4 months.
4 months. Oh, so you do probably want to pick up that pace a little bit, at least shorten the
just a
interval.
Smidge. Yeah.
That's not bad. Like,
if not just for the feeling of putting output, like it's because I really want to get better at filmmaking and storytelling and all that sort of blah blah blah, like editing and that kind of stuff. And I don't think I can do that by putting out a video every 4 months. You know, like I can, but it would just take a long time. So, and I'd like to experiment with different content types as well, because I can feel myself tightening up and being like, oh, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Just keep doing the same thing. I'm like, nah, as soon as I start feeling that, even on Instagram, or even just like in my regular day-to-day, it's like, all right, now it's time to change it up. Yep. When something's working, I'm like, okay, let's change it. Yeah. Which is stupid. But it's sort of like lower time constraints that it's going to take me, is what I'm focusing on.
So I guess there's a few things you could focus on. There's like trying the different content types, trying to explore the new, or at least what you're learning in terms of storytelling.
Yep.
And then there's also making it more efficient. Because I guess the 2 videos that you put out, they are about different topics, but they are kind of the same style. Yeah, right?
Definitely.
They're basically the same.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing.
No, but yeah, they had like a structure, a very specific structure to them. Things were placed in a very specific section, edited, re-edited, reshot, back and forth. So it wasn't just like a throw it together fluke sort of thing. It was really planned out.
So what do you think the main thing you want to focus on for the next one is?
So I experimented this week with a stream that was like a 3-prompt challenge. So a 3-word prompt challenge. And I recorded that.
So what does that mean?
So it's like I threw into ChatGPT, write me a 3-word character prompt, and it spit out mystic or mystical forest mechanic.
Okay.
So it kind of it forces you to, and this is the way I'm thinking about this is actually going to help me with my ideas for drawing and art just in general, and like getting new ideas and idea generation is going to help me from that skill level, but also like sharing that process on stream, recording that process. So I throw them up on YouTube anyway, but I recorded it on my end, so it's a little bit higher quality. And then kind of reverse engineering that session, doing a little bit of work on my own afterwards on the actual character design itself and like just the illustration and drawing and painting and that kind of thing, and kind of trying to figure out if I can weave a narrative into that in a shorter amount of time. So it's almost like we're reverse engineering that instead of coming from the script first. It's like, all right, let's throw me into the situation of just like unknown, and then recording that. The content's there. Now, is there a narrative or is there a structure that I could repeat constantly, but the context will change every week or every 2 weeks? You know what I mean? So it's like a structured thing. It's like, all right, cool. It's Ben's challenge video, right? And this is clips from stream. This is clips from what I was doing afterwards. But it's sort of, it's less work up front, if that makes sense. And that's the experiment. I did the stream on Monday. I've only just started to put pieces together of what like little sections of the video and that kind of stuff could be in the last couple of days. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So you're trying to, I guess you're doing the stream, and then you're trying to challenge yourself to create a video almost on the fly, or at least create the narrative on the fly. Is that what you're trying to do?
Not even the narrative. It's just like, all right, here's these 3 words. Let's try and come up with a character based on these 3 words.
And then that's going into
into like, so the stream started off with idea generation, what kind of references that I used. Like, for example, like this is just the ideas that I've got. I would introduce the video. So it wouldn't just be a recording of the stream by any means. That's going to be a part of it. It's going to be one of the video beats or the story beats. I've bought a course on like storytelling, so I'm kind of right in this mindset at the moment. But it's like, it's one of those story beats is like where I was sort of trying to figure it out on stream and that kind of thing. But if I'm going to intro it, it'll be like, I'm trying to get better at character design. And this is what all of these types of videos could start with. I'm trying to get better at character design. So I typed into ChatGPT, character prompt, I did it on stream, and this is what happened. So I started off. Okay, so then you've got the difference in each video of the prompts and the different ways that I'll tackle it. Maybe I'll put restraints on myself in some sort of future videos, right? And then it's like, okay, so it was like mystic, forest, mechanic. So like, all right, so then I just started to get a bunch of references, and then I'll show B-roll of me actually getting references on stream. But, and this could just be me talking to camera or like a voiceover. It's like, but I actually had no idea. Like, I'm looking at a blank canvas, and then I could clip to me saying, I don't know what I'm doing, like 50 times that I said in the stream, you know what I mean? So you kind of like weave in a narrative, and it's like, but then someone in chat mentioned mycelium, which is like like when a mushroom, because not to go too deep into the thing, I don't know how interesting it is, but it's like the character design is, I didn't want it just to be like a mechanic, like drawing a girl, for example, in a fucking mechanic's outfit. So I got the forest idea. Maybe she's more mystic, like in voodoo. So she's like kind of like the mechanic of the forest. So she goes and heals plants and stuff. So it's like that kind of off. And then someone mentioned mycelium. So it's like all the roots of mushrooms. And then she goes and heals that. So then it was like, that's the turning point where it took the character design. So there's kind of like a story beat in there where it goes from like act 1 is like the setup of like, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Then going into sort of act 2 is like, then it was like mycelium. That was the key. Maybe she's not a typical mechanic. She's a mechanic of the forest where she goes and heals plants and this kind of thing. And then you can see that idea develop. And it might not necessarily be chronologically correct in the stream, but I'm just trying to figure out how to put something together that's engaging, valuable from like an education, like from people actually wanting to see how stuff's done, not so much like how to, which is what the last couple of videos were, and something that I could spit out maybe in 2 weeks, like a week or two, depending on how fast I can get it done. So yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, so this is quite different. Yeah, so this is more about almost you're setting yourself a challenge, and this is one what you're doing, one for content, and two because it's an art challenge that will help you kind of grow as an artist.
And also the community aspect, because I didn't mention this on stream, but I think I might put out a post like, hey guys, if you want to follow along, I would love to actually sort of show some of your work on how you guys went with this. You get like completely different ideas and then show them in the video as well. So it has like a bit of a community aspect to it as well. And it can actually get me using Discord, because I just threw up a Discord because I thought that's what you should, like people asked me to. I was like, okay, go have fun. And I sort of very seldom go in there because it's not, I don't use it myself. So, and there was no real reason for me to just pop in there and stuff. But now this could be a reason to start engaging with the streams and having that extra dimension to it instead of people just watching. It's like, all right, cool, they're engaging in it. How'd you guys go with the thing? I'm struggling with this. People sharing their work in progresses, and it could start to add more value in that sort of community aspect as well. Again, it's just, I got no idea. It may or it may not. The video might flop. I don't think it's going to do as well as the other videos because it's less like evergreen, but it's sort of like the in-between videos between the evergreen content, if that makes sense. So
it's like a filler video almost.
Yeah, it is.
Filler kind of cheapens it, but
it is, but it's just different. Like there was a way, I can't remember who said it, but there was a way that this YouTube person that was pretty successful was talking about it. He was saying you want to be more like, you don't want to be Colbert, like for the US people, you know who I'm talking about.
Like Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, you want to be, who's the English bloke? Jolly fella. Rotund.
James Corden.
That's the one. Yeah. You want to be more like him, like a little bit of variety, because you can start to get a little bit old. And also, there's only so much stuff I can say on like the how-to thing as well. And this I can then spin off into, okay, maybe it's drawing this week. The next week we're going to take this character and we're going to sculpt him in Blender. Then we're going to sculpt him in real life. Then we're going to do like use that as studies for other things, you know, so then it can start to build out just more variety in the content, and it's going to be more fun for me as well. It'll keep it less dry. So yeah, there's a few key points of this experiment that are sort of appealing to me. And from a business side of it as well, the more videos that I can get out, I think is going to do better. And I can show a little bit more of my personality as well, instead of just like a little bit not as scripted. It's going to be a little bit scripted, but it's going to be a little bit more free flowing as well, which will be cool. Not as free flowing as the streams, but it's kind of like that in between. Again, I've still got no idea how this is going to be structured or whatever, but yeah, that's what I'm hoping to get it out by the end of next week. We'll see how we go.
So it's a bit more of a community showcase, a bit more of a process video, and a bit more free-flowing, less polished.
And not just your usual process video. It's more like the thinking behind it as well. It's like, okay, again, I'm trying to think in story as much as I can, because that's generally more engaging than just like throwing up a stream replay. But it's like, all right, this is where I started. This is the challenges I had. And then here's the resolution to where I got to. So that's where I'll spend a bit of time on my own, refining the character, making it look nice and that kind of thing. And then it could, from a pure business and promotional standpoint, get more people interested in the streams, which then can help things keep sort of growing that way. And then I can start doing, like when I do the sculpting thing, it doesn't have to be a purely sculpting how-to video, or like the things that I found with sculpting. It's like, cool, this is just a character idea that now I'm going to sculpt. Right. And it doesn't have to be a 3-word prompt. It could be what's hot at the moment, like Ninja Turtles are coming up, like the new Ninja Turtle movie. It could be something to do with that. It could be whatever. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment, trying to systematize it, because I don't want to spend the next 4 months working on another video. You know?
Right. You want to switch it up a bit.
I could gladly, but from a business perspective, it doesn't make sense.
And you want to experiment more and
I want to experiment
switch
more.
up your process.
Yeah. And then, next time we do a podcast, it could be something completely different. But yeah, that's where I'm going with my stuff at the moment.
And your B-roll is already filmed.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the interesting thing, because then you've got all the content's already there, all the story beats, and it's just going to be like interspersing the clip into the larger narrative that you want to tell in the story itself. So it's like, oh, what fits in this section, plus the overlay, like the voiceover, plus me face to camera where it makes sense, plus other resources and things that were mentioned in stream, or things that spark, like in the script that I'm writing at the moment, I've got a couple of resources that connect to the content that I'm making at the moment. It's like, cool, I can just burst in, check this out where he said this, and that was what I was thinking about here, because that was really helpful that I didn't mention on stream, and that kind of thing. So we'll see how it goes.
It's kind of testing your storytelling ability in a way, right? Like you're using this as a way to kind of implement what you've been learning in the course.
Yeah, definitely. And it's probably going to suck the first few times, but it's going to be like, we'll see. It's, I'm just keeping that mindset. It's an experiment. And at the very least, it's getting the reps in, just like any other piece of content. And and I can just get more stuff out, still at a decent quality.
I think it also gives you a bit more space to kind of spread out that more polished content and give you space to think about a better idea for the more polished content, or at least a more kind of cohesive idea.
Yeah, it gets the reps in as well with editing, so the polished content's going to be better. So it's going to help me get my workflow faster, because I'm just getting so many I will be getting more reps in. So it's like, all right, cool. Now when it comes to the polished video, that might only take me like 3 weeks instead of 4 months. Once I get up to a real like nice sort of speed with stuff and just get all the machine running, and it's all just like get all my templates ready and then it's like,
potentially an easier editing job, these ones. Like if you talked a bit about before that you might have the need to hire editors, one might be a little bit easier to offload in the future.
Definitely, because then it could be like, all right, here's the structure, here's what I'm thinking. Find those, see if you can find the key moments in the stream. Like, this is what it was about. This was blah, 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 blah. This is what I want it to be like. I can maybe just give an outline. Give us a rough cut for then me to come through, or just like, go for it. See what the edit's like, and putting your own thing. I've done some voiceover in these key sections. So I'm thinking about that as well. Because my partner, she's going to be helping me do some editing as well. So that's going to be a good test.
Yeah.
To see how that process goes. I've been thinking about this systematizing stuff and just getting I guess lower effort cheapens it, but it's like less time consuming content, even with shorts. So like my goal at the moment is Sundays, do 2 to 3 shorts, right? Just make them. And then I've got 2 to 3 shorts or reels or whatever you want to call them, TikToks. Then I've got 3 of those in the week, so then I don't have to worry about trying to chase my own tail as I'm making this other content and doing these other projects, like the sculpting project. I've got to think about packaging and stuff like that soon, and getting that into production, and then doing the course and that kind of thing. Just, it's really trying to systematize, however you want to say it. Yeah, trying to get that in place so I don't lose my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, enough about me, man. What's been going on with you? What's the latest?
Well, for me, I'm back to programming.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, I wanted to do some content stuff, but I couldn't find a way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to do some stuff about the communication, but whenever I would think about, writing a script or writing anything to do with it, I just couldn't get the ideas to my head. And I think the main thing, which I really do enjoy, and I have to keep reminding myself of this, is that I do enjoy the programming. And the more I try to get away from it, the more I tend to go to a state of not doing anything. So this is a reminder for myself, which I will refer back to in the future, is that I will probably, whatever I do, I think I need to be programming. And actually, the main thing which I've kind of realized that it is I need to be solving puzzles in a way. I think that's what I've realized about myself, is that I'm addicted to solving puzzles.
Nice.
I'm addicted to solving problems.
Yep.
Whatever they are.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that I'm good at doing that through code. And the content at least in terms of creating content or creating videos, it's one of those things where when I look at other videos or I look at other content and then the ideas do spur in my head and I'm like, oh yeah, that would be cool to make that. But then when it actually goes to making that, it doesn't happen.
Yep.
So at least at this stage, I think in the future, maybe I will be able to think about that in terms of a puzzle or in terms of a craft. But I think I'll have to start small and at least not now. I think it will come.
Yeah.
But not now. So I'm back to programming Keepon, which is our startup.
Yep.
And I've reduced the scope of what I was doing. So before I was trying to rebuild everything, which is a mistake I've done many times, and I will continue to make that mistake, I'm sure. But I've narrowed the scope down and I've narrowed it to a way where I can see the end, or at least where I can meaningfully make progress towards a goal and feel like there is an end within the next few months, or at least by the deadline I've set for myself, which is definitely unrealistic, but at least like next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yep. In time for your birthday, isn't it?
Yes, just in time for my birthday.
Yeah, boy.
Which is for some reason always a milestone that we tend to use when we're building projects.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically rebuilding the Keepon front end, which is, so I'm not touching the back end at all. It's just the user-facing stuff, which is the iPhone app and the web app, rebuilding it in a new language, in a new framework, which is because it's built in iOS, which we don't really, it's not something I use to program. It's kind of a relic of what Keepon was in the past.
Yep.
When you guys used basically a development house. Yep. And they program it in whatever they were expertise in. So I'm building in React Native, which will help us share the code base and build it for web and iOS at the same time, and potentially Android. And that'll be manageable for one person developing it, which is going to be me. So I'm going to develop it by myself, and then I can develop features. But that's like, it's one of those things where I think about it and then I don't stop thinking about it. You know, like at night, I'm like, okay, I need to do this, blah, blah, blah. All right, I need to implement this. I can use this thing. Like my mind is just not turning off about it.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign.
That's a very good sign.
Because at least I don't need to fight discipline or willpower to get going on whatever I'm trying to do.
The wind's in your sails, baby.
Yeah.
It's pushing you along.
And so back to thinking about programming a lot, which feels good. Feels like I'm solving problems. And I think that's just another lesson in kind of not trying to fight what is going on in the brain. Like sometimes I find when you're procrastinating or something, sometimes you're procrastinating for good reasons, sometimes you're procrastinating for bad reasons. This one's probably a mix.
Yep.
And it reminds me of I've been getting into climbing a lot recently and watching a lot of Magnus Bitbo. He's a very popular YouTuber, and he talks about how when he's creating stuff, he always feels like it's that thing where your brain just can't turn off about it. Like the thing that you're awake thinking of at night or during the day, you're just always thinking about. And for me right now, that's programming. And what is it for you? Like, because you have all these, you have all these different kind of projects, right? You got the sculpting, you got the video editing, sometimes you have the programming, you got the general artistry, you got the content.
Yeah. Like,
what is it right now for you? And are you working on it?
Yeah. I don't know. Yes, all of the above.
But that's probably a good thing, right? Because then you can kind of work on anything.
Yeah, and it's kind of like helped me mitigate some procrastination, because if I can just like swap.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm not working on that, it's like cool. Because they're all going towards the same sort of larger goal of just building this, I don't know what even you would call it, just this thing of sustainable I'm doing what I want when I want and making a decent amount of money while doing it, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. That's what I want to build, right? Same thing. Yeah.
So, and all of that, whether it's working on the sculpting, because that's working towards that arm of the business that I'm looking to spin up before the end of the year, whether it's the course that I want to sort of chip away at, which is going to help fund a lot of this stuff, whether it's the YouTube content, which is going to help promote both of those things, whether it's also the coding on the website, which again is going to be help promoting both of those things, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's, you know what I mean? So it's all kind of intertwined. So I guess I do think about the end goal a lot. And then it's just a matter of prioritizing. So that's a different problem, right? So I can just sit and spin my wheels, and I could get all fancy with a 60-second short that takes me 3 days to do if I wanted to. It's like, how well was that time spent? So now it's like, and this is a big part of why I'm looking to systematize a lot of this stuff, because it's like, all right, I need to get stuff done. I need to pull back on the perfectionism, like that kind of stuff, and just really prioritize that. This is wicked, man. This is cool. Like it's, and the thing is, you can always spin off into content as well, because I couldn't see myself doing content for the sake of content and trying to think up of something to talk about. Yeah, because I was doing this stuff anyway, and it was kind of a natural fit. I was drawing and painting anyway, so it's like, all right, now you sort of feed the content side into it. You're programming, right? Whether it's programming content or it's content around you. Because I've seen programmers on YouTube and stuff that have spun themselves off into all different avenues that isn't the how to code in JavaScript, how to create this web page and create this app, whatever. It's like them. People start following them because they're problem solvers. They come up with cool problems. They position them in a way that's engaging, and then they solve them on camera. And it's like, cool, as you said, you're like doing puzzles, right? And you do them through code. So that sparked something. Like my content brain was like, that's a cool little brand. Like that's how you solve problems. And it could be building in the open with Keepon, right? So sharing a bit of the process there, but it could also be just other side projects that you're doing to make your life easier. It could be stuff that we're doing with this, because I'd love to like use my company's product as well, like somehow in the future, you know what I mean? Or if it's something that we build it separately, it's so yeah, I think there's definitely room for content when you're ready to do it as well. Having it built around that passion of something that you're doing that you can't stop thinking about. There's a purpose and there's sort of that wind in your sails. I think it makes it a heck of a lot easier. Yeah.
When I was thinking about it the other day, I was thinking about it kind of with the analogy of you, because you are someone that was doing the artistry anyway. I remember when we were working on Keepon, you would just talk to me about the lighting, just randomly, like this isn't like before you were sharing it on Instagram, right? You were just talking to me about lighting, and like, we'd walk down, like Frome Road. Yeah. And then, the lighting would hit the building, and then you'd tell me about, the diffusion, whatever it is, all of that stuff. Like that's what's cool. 'Cause I think, you've been that way. You've been like authentically, this is what you've been interested in. Yeah. You've just been sharing it. Yeah. Like, to people that's more than me. Yeah. And that's what your original Instagram posts were kind of about, I guess. Yeah. In a way.
Funnily enough, I think we were sitting in this room when one of my posts kind of popped off a little bit more than others. It was these hands.
Yes.
And we had to market, like, I think it was like a marketing talk that we were coming in here for or something, or it was like a team meeting of sorts. And I was saying like, I think this could be a thing maybe. Like, just because we were talking about, all right, how we're going to make money and da-da-da-da, like outside of this, if we're going to keep this going and da-da-da. I was like, this could be something. I don't know. I reckon I could try and figure it out. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, man. Like, and even the way that you explain things, like even the way that you talk, A, on camera, B, doing this, how fast you learn stuff, and even the way, because you're a massive part of my learning programming, right? And even business and analytics and breaking things down and problem solving and a way of thinking. You're a massive part of my journey with that as well. And the way that you've helped me is absolutely phenomenal. And I've always said, yeah, no, I'm not fucking, if you were shit, I wouldn't say anything, you know, like, there's a lot of people that could benefit from that in whatever package that's going to be for you, you know? So it's like, yeah, I'm excited for you because it's like, hell, what is it going to turn into? Because this is like this is like that one post that kind of went off, or just like that little inkling. It's like, this feels, I don't know, a little bit different than say like the communication stuff. That could come into it definitely later on down the road, but it's like, it feels like, yeah.
I think there was a time when the communication stuff was like a big part of what I was learning, but it's not something I think about at night anymore. You know, back when maybe 2020, 2019, like that kind of year range, I was thinking about that a lot.
Chris Voss.
When I was, consuming the Chris Voss stuff, when I started the, crisis hotline stuff, like that was back then. Yeah. That was like 100% of my mind. But right now it's just, I just don't think about it to the same extent. I still think it's like super valuable, but I feel like I've already internalized a lot of those lessons and I'm not as curious about seeking out information about it now. Yeah. It's more just practice.
That's interesting. Like finding things, because I mean with art as well, it's never ending. Right? I think that could be not a danger, but something to consider if someone's looking to get into a niche with content or something. How long? Because I was, listening to someone, I can't remember who it was, but they were saying, what's something that you could, I think it was Senpai Gaming. What's his face? Oh, it's like a fancy name. Harry, maybe it's not that fancy. Harry. Anyway, I'll probably forget to tell you who it is. But I was listening to what he was saying. He's a very successful like YouTuber in the gaming space, in particular. The Stream Doctor. If you go look that up, you know who it is.
Oh, is he the Dr.
blonde
K?
head bloke?
No.
Oh no, not the streamer doctor. This guy is known as like for setting up streams doctor. And shit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But he was saying, what's something that you could do week in, week out?
Yeah.
That's always evolving and changing that you can do, and stay interested in it. Because if you're like just looking at, this is why I was trying sculpting. This is why I want to get all these other elements into my content, because it keeps it interesting for me. Because if I was just all about like coloring and light, for example, and that was my skew, and that's the only thing that I talked about, I'd get sick of that real quick, I reckon. Like if I didn't branch out, and this is the cool thing with like art or even programming, it could be whatever the hell you want it to be. Like it could go off into whatever. Like with me, it could be like different characters, it can be different mediums, it can be whatever. So that's a way to keep it interesting. And I can see, like some people could spin the communication thing off into continually doing stuff, but it almost, I don't know, from an outsider looking in, it seems a little bit more like not limiting if you didn't attach something else onto it, if that makes sense, or like branch it out in a certain way. And it was not super clear in my head, at least, what that would look like. It might happen naturally.
Yeah, and I think it has never been super clear in my head, like what that could be. It was just like a general idea that feels like it would be nice.
Yeah.
But whenever I tried to work on it, it just couldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I think that was a signal I tried to overcome through brute force.
Yep.
And that just doesn't work. Yeah. At least it will work for a little bit, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But this programming signal feels more in line with, like, I guess what my superpower is in a way. Like my superpower, I can just program and like it doesn't feel like work to me.
And it is a superpower, everyone listening. It's fucking phenomenal watching this guy just go. No, you say nothing, I'm saying it. You're not saying anything. You don't have to agree with me.
Well, if you're going to compliment me, I'm going to say that about your art. Okay?
No, you do not. I'm not going fishing here. But
I do think your ability to like create whatever, and then because I think a lot of people think Ben can only draw one style of art, but he can make anything. Like he can draw anything, and I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, just take it. Just take it.
Take it anyway. I'm not going fishing, but I like what I caught. Yeah. So it's exciting, dude.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. So, and I think, yeah, like you're saying, the content stuff can come out of that. I think for me, that just needs to become a habit of saying what I'm saying or saying what I'm thinking and putting it out loud in a way,
Yeah.
which is not a habit that I'm used to because, yeah, like you, I'm a very non-public person,
Yep.
you know, by nature.
Yep.
And it's very unnatural for me to put things out in the open.
Yeah. It's a skill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't be, like you've said before, I wouldn't be on social media if not for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know. So that is, that is a skill that's like kind of the side skill, I guess. Is over time I want to find a way to share what I'm doing in a way that feels congruent with who I am, and find a way to do that in a way that's both appealing to me and appealing to others, which is going to be a longer learning process, I think. Yeah, but at least for now I can program and feel like I can test my ideas on business through this startup.
Exactly right.
Test my ideas on user experience and
even some of the content stuff that we're learning here. Like we can jam on that and go back and forth, and like once it's ready to start putting content behind it, then it's like cool. Let's experiment with stuff, you know. Like I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah,
like testing stuff out in different ways, and I want to. You got me in the mode, just seeing what you've been working on. I'm like, oh shit! We were talking before the podcast. It was like, I miss sort of making stuff. Like I love these sessions so much because it's kind of like we're making stuff, but actually like jamming on a problem, and we're going back and forth, and we're trying to like figure it out. Like this in programming in particular. Yeah, there's just something really bloody fun doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I do miss that. There's something about the way we work together which works very well. I think you're very good at sketching like ideas in whatever kind of medium it is, you know, whether it's art or programming. And I'm very good at, I think,
making the thing.
Yeah,
but you're good at that as well.
Polishing.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm good at sketch. Like I can say what I'm thinking, but it's but you're very like I can say that to you, and then you'll sketch it, and then that works. You know, you know, like because I think I like know what I want, but like, it's hard for me to get to that to like paper.
Yep.
But you're like very good at just like, no, we don't need to worry about those details. We'll fill them in later.
Yep.
You know, prototyping. Like you're a very natural prototyper.
Yeah.
I'm not a very natural I'm like a very natural thinker and like architector, I think.
Yep.
And I think that's where we like kind of fill each other's gaps in.
Definitely.
Even though we can both kind of do the other thing a little bit. But it's like, and we think on the same wavelength. But anyway, that's enough about
we just
I just think about that sometimes, like how come like, you know, us two work better.
Yeah, me too, man.
That way.
You got to find yourself a Francis. That's what you.
I already have one of those.
That's right.
I got to find.
You're all set. But no, it's exciting stuff, dude, and it's good to. I reckon this is it's an exciting path, man. Like, because I can just hear like how you're talking about it as well.
Yeah, it feels like when I talk about it, it feels much more natural.
Yeah,
and I think, you know, we've talked about Steph Smith's book, Doing Content Right.
Yep.
And I think step one in that book is like become an expert in something, you know, before you can talk about, like you have to actually do something like, you know, be an expert in something or like have some unique insight about something.
Yeah.
And it's hard to realize that when you've been in something for so long because you just don't know what you already know compared to what others think about the thing that you know.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to say and a hard thing to pass. But if you're an expert in something, it's hard to know that you're an expert in something.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
And it's hard to have that concept of what your knowledge would be like without that knowledge.
Yep. I 100% agree with that. And I think we've even talked about that, like even being I don't think even an expert needs to be the case either, even for content. I think you just need to be a few steps ahead of someone that's looking for the same thing. Could even be more valuable. Because I mean, me doing a ultra beginners course, I could do it, but it doesn't come as naturally to me because I know how to hold a pencil. I know how to throw a line down, you know. It's like, would I be the best person to teach like that ultra beginner stuff. Maybe not. But someone that's just gone through that and they're just past it, it might just be a little bit fresher in their head. But that's the thing. Like, at what point are you an expert? It's like such a subjective thing as well.
How long is a piece of string?
Yeah,
kind of thing.
It's like you don't get a badge, you don't get a certificate. It's like, yep, I'm an expert. Even if you go to uni and like you can just skate it through, you know. It's like technically I've got a degree, but I don't really know how to do anything. So it's it's cool, man. I'm bloody excited for it.
Yeah, in some ways it feels like I've gone backwards. Like, I was here kind of 2 months ago, but now, now I'm here again, which is, I guess, what happens. Like,
that from like jamming on a problem with prototyping and doing code, like with multiple sessions where we're like, all right, what about this way of doing it? Yeah, maybe. What about this, and this? It just circles all the way back to the beginning. It's like, yeah, that's probably the best solution for now.
True.
And then it's like, yep, we'll just we spend a whole day going around in a circle, but at least we know we experimented. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like we said through this whole thing, it's all just experiments, just giving it a shot.
Yeah, so it is exciting. I feel more re-energized about what I'm going to do. Which is a good thing. And I think, the signal, like I said before, don't feel like I'm fighting to get motivated. I'm already doing it.
Yeah.
That's a signal in itself and something I should pay attention to.
Definitely.
So I'm going to try to not relearn this lesson again in the near future.
But if you do that, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like I think for me recently, I've been really trying to let go of those hard and fast rule of like, or just that stuff that you say to yourself. So don't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
Don't that's a good idea to not make those mistakes again. But also shit's cyclical as well. Like it's fucking, it all changes. And if I make the mistake again, it's happened. I can't, whatever. It's not, just chill, man. Just chill out. That's to me, not to you.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been trying to do, a little bit more of that. And I think that's a part of me letting go of the perfectionism of the content as well. Just experiment. Stuff's not going to work.
Yeah, being a bit less precious about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that because I know if I was in your position with the 2 YouTube videos that kind of like had some success, I would be very scared of like doing something else.
Missing.
Or at least like, feeling like you've set up the expectation for what your channel is and then changing, like, doing something else to it. Like it feels very scary to me.
Yeah.
Which is...
Me too.
I think it's very good that you've found a way to get past that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Next week, it flopped. I'm going back to the other way. I'm just not going to sleep. Well, that's the thing. You've also got the fucking atomic bomb of just like, delete the video. Right? I'll probably never do that.
Yeah, I feel like that's it is nice to have that option, but I feel like you shouldn't do it.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. It matters, but it doesn't. It's all good fun.
I think that's a wrap then.
We'll wrap it up. Yeah. I got some YouTube insights, but we'll leave that till next episode. I reckon diving deeper into something. We'll be here for another hour.
Yeah.
Got some stuff I've learned from YouTube as well, which I'll share, and from other creators as well.
Well, that's a good teaser. And if you want to stay tuned for when that stuff comes out,
there you go.
Instagram, Make Now Think Later.
That's it.
YouTube, subscribe.
Everywhere podcasts are.
That's where we are.
Bam. Look at that.
All right.
Couple of salesmen. Love it. Awesome. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, and we'll see you in the next one.
Catch ya.